Hey, Mariana. Ah, gracias. Gracias. Bien. Cansada, pero bien. ¿Cómo estás tú? Hello, Hope. Ay, qué bueno. It's almost Christmas, guys. Can I believe it? Can I believe it that we are almost there? Like, time flies. Definitely time flies. Hi, Fluffy. Definitely time flies. It's amazing, actually. En Argentina se encena el 24 a la noche. We celebrate Christmas the 24th, the evening of the 24th till the 25, but the 25 is like a day to rest, but to gather as a family and to prepare meals and celebrations. It's on the night of the 24th, and it's going to be tomorrow night. So, yes. Oh, ustedes también. Can you hear me well, guys? Because I got again this new mic because the one that I bought that it was wireless, I couldn't connect it. I couldn't connect it, and it had the same plug for my phone, but I just couldn't connect it. I just like I didn't hear anything. It was like as if I wasn't like using anything. So I bought this one again, the regular one. It's just that with these things, the bad part is that eventually this thing would come off, like it wouldn't stay. They would come off, and then the little mic it's very fragile without it, so it breaks. So yeah, you have to be very careful. But it that this design is the one that had like had worked for me. But the wireless one I got, I believe I got one that just doesn't go with my phone. So, oh guys, I'm almost done watching Alice in Borderland. I don't know if someone else here is watching it, but I'm excited. Like I really waited a long time to watch it, and like I'm gonna set that it's only 8 episodes, and I'm on episode 6. So Are there any exols present? Because I'm going to start with Venus in the signs for the guys, because like I don't want it to take very long. Like the other the other lives were really long, like almost 3 hours, and I'm not going to stay here like almost 3 hours. Um, so oh, thank God, Fluffy, because I was going to be talking by myself if there wasn't any exos present. Hello, guys. I was reading you. Oh, Leonor, I was going to say hello, guys, because I read your message. Hello, Leonor. Uh, okay, guys, I'm going to start with the first one that I have on my list. That is, I believe, it's the leader, Suho. That he is a Gemini, but his Venus is in Taurus. Um, and I also noticed that there's another member that has also Venus in Taurus, that it's Sehun, the Magne. He also has like Venus in Taurus. So as you know, Venus in Taurus, it's a good placement. It's a positive placement for relationships because Taurus is ruled by Venus. I think Suho has Venus in Cancer. Um, I don't know. The information that I got from the internet, I don't know what to trust on the internet, but his Mars is in Cancer. Like it says that his Venus is in Taurus and his Mars is in Cancer. So I don't know. But Baekhyun and Sehun have it on Taurus. Oh, I had Baekhyun with Venus in Aries, actually here. I have Baekhyun with Venus in Aries and Mars in Taurus. I mean, I checked in two different sites, but um, this is what it said. Yeah, I wouldn't see like Baekhyun like a Venus in Taurus, because it would be like too much Taurian energy in him. Like he's already a Taurus, so I met a lot of Taurus people that are Venus in Aries, in Mercury in Aries, but Mars in Taurus, it would make sense. But to have Venus in Taurus as well, it would be too much Taurian energy, and definitely For Baekhyun in particular, like I would definitely see a bit of Aries in him, a bit of Aries influence, because of how curious he seems to be, how playful he seems to be. But yes, in the case of Suho and Sehun, that they both have Venus in Taurus, also what they have in common is that their Mars are in water signs. Like Suho has his Mars in Cancer, and um, and Sehun has it on Pisces. So definitely both of them have like a lot of correspondences. Like probably there's like something in common between their energies. Also, I believe that their moon sign is also on Earth signs. For example, Suho, I believe he's a moon in Virgo, and Sehun is a moon in Taurus. So, you know, a lot of stability, despite of them being like coming from a sun sign that it's very like out there and spontaneous and somehow a bit more like outgoing. They do share a lot of earth placement, so probably they are very mature or very stable, especially in relationships. I believe that they do value commitment a lot. They are very sensitive. Um, but also, I think that probably, because when we think about a Venus in Taurus, Venus in Taurus people, they love romance. Like, they are good at seducing people. They feel really good when they are involved in romantic scenarios. But I think that since they are looking for something long term, this is not like an indicator that they will always find like love around the corner, or for example that just because they have Venus in Taurus, that love life is going to be easy for them. Actually, this is not the same as to say, for example, being a Venus in Libra. A Venus in Libra person, they they say Venus in Libra, they are lucky in love because they tend to vibrate. They tend to like go towards love. Like they somehow end up in relationships, like good or bad, but they are in relationships with someone. And in the case of Venus in Taurus, since Taurus it's a very slow paced, it's very like they take their time, like because they know that once they are invested, it's like forever. So, and actually, this is serious for them. Actually, not so serious like a Venus in Capricorn that it will be like okay, like a bit like a contract, but for any placement that is in Taurus, especially when it has to do with feelings, emotions, and what you consider value. In this case, we're talking about a potential lover. For them, they could use this Venus in Taurus to attract, but they have to somehow also be sure that this connection is going to last, or that this relationship is going to have like a purpose, and not so much to be like, oh, for example, a Venus in Capricorn, because it's so practical, it needs to have a purpose in the sense of, okay, what are you bringing to my life? Like, what. But in the case of a Venus in Taurus, they are very devoted and they are very slow to catch feelings for someone. But once they do, it's very difficult for them to get out, to fall out of love, because they are very insistent in this idea of stability, so once they are like, okay, this is my person, they want to keep their relationship going, and they expect the relationship going to go. For them, breakups are really hard. go through a lot of stages of denial where actually breaking up for them is not an option. So this is why I think that probably Venus in Taurus, it's a good placement for love, especially if you are someone that you are looking for a potential partner that will stick with you till the end. Probably it's a Venus in Taurus. If you know that they have this placement, you are like, okay, yeah, I got it. This is for me. But for the person that has this energy, for them it's a serious matter. For them, maybe since they know that they are so like committed. I would say committed, but I think that it's hard for them to move on actually, so it's not like an energy that is fluent or that it's open to other options. A Venus in Taurus, once they fall in love, is like there's a stagnation in there. There's like, okay, you and me, that's it. And Venus in Cap, like, don't waste my time. Yeah, they don't like change. Yes, they don't like change. And in Taurus, it's like, oh, this is safe and stable. Yes. Actually, we know that Taurus energy is the opposite to a Scorpio, and sometimes we do associate that Scorpios are possessive, that Scorpios have a hard time letting go. And actually, I think that the shadow side of Taurus is to also to not have the ability to let go, because actually, like I think I had shared this story, but me, in my case, that I do attract a lot of Taurus and people with Taurus energy. I had like I I had situations with them where they didn't get it, that I wasn't no longer interested, or that I wasn't that interested, that I was just like seeing my options, that it's not like I made my mind already. They already were picturing me and them having children and a whole future together, and actually we just met. So I think that sometimes for and it's really hard to tell a Taurus person or placement, and not Taurus Sun, more like Taurus Venus, Taurus Moon, to tell them like, yeah, I think we should see other people, or I think that we should like, take a time off. Like, they don't get it. They just really have like they are a bit deaf. Like, it seems like they do not have the comprehension to, especially if they already made their mind that you are that person for them. Like, they already made plans that you are that person, like, that's it. And this is why maybe for some people, especially in the case of Suho and Sehun, and because of their Mars in water, I think that probably they are thinking, and they really are they're aiming for a long-term partner, for commitment, for marriage in the future with someone. I think that they do believe in love, they are very loyal, but their Mars in water somehow also lets them be a bit like evasive, in the sense that probably they are going to take their time to actually think like, okay, who do I give all this loyalty, all this need to settle down? Probably these are people that, I believe that Suho is a Gemini and Sehun is an Aries. So probably they do hide behind their suns, to act like they really are not looking for anything serious. But their Venus in Taurus definitely is looking for something serious. It's looking for the right person. But probably they project this on the other person, in the sense of, oh yes, I got into this relationship because the other person wanted me to be with them, or wanted me to date them. I just wasn't looking for something, because I think that sometimes Venus in Taurus, they do fear their level of how how deep they go into. I think that it's not about getting like deep, because deepness is all about the Scorpio. But I think that for For Taurus, it's all about the effort. I really did everything right. I put all the effort. Like I took you out to all these fancy restaurants. I spent a lot of time and money and effort, energy in you. So yes, now we are dating, and now we are going to sit here on this couch and watch Netflix every night, and we are going to be together. For them it's very simple like that. But I think that these are people. Venus in Taurus, it's someone that they need a stability. Probably for them to not know where they're standing with their significant other is not a very comfortable situation for them. Because somehow I think that and probably I think that they are looking for that someone that can bring this stability in their lives as well. So, like this projection, probably since they are an earth sign and they are a fire sign, probably they will attract someone that has like Taurus attributes, a Taurus female, Taurus someone, or a Virgo, or I don't know, a Capricorn, someone that exudes that earth like kind of energies. Yeah, they're too fixed for me. Yes. Sehun is also a Taurus moon, yes. Actually, his moon could also be in Aries depending on his birth. Sehun, yes, he is definitely a moon in Taurus. Definitely. I actually have a hard time seeing him as in Aries because that moon in Taurus in there is definitely giving a lot of like heaviness. Yes, very romantic. Yes, very romantic, especially him, Sehun, that he does have a Mars in Aries, Mars in Pisces. So he is romantic. He is romantic. He is much more sensitive. Oh, again, this bot. I don't know why. Yes, he's very sensitive. He's very sensitive. He's very sensitive, but also, I think that for Sehun, probably because of him being the magnet and him also being an Aries, I think that probably it will take a while for him to actually own this sensibility. In the sense that probably his exterior as an Aries sign, as an Aries, is like he will always try to fight back his sweet side, his sensitive side, probably trying to act like he doesn't care, like, oh, like I'm just here being me, like I'm just centered on myself, like I'm not looking for others, like I don't care. He somehow it's very comfortable in this Aries energy. But inside he's a very sensitive guy. Yes, he's very sensitive, and I believe that he could also be like very like a fool in love, to fantasize a lot. But probably he does fantasize a lot, and like I always tell you, anything that Pisces touches, generally it can cause a bit of distraction and a bit of, like not actually being really clear in his actions towards between what he says and what he does are two different things. And actually him being a bit of evasive, in relationships and in everything. Probably that Mars in Pisces of him, he does like procrastinate a lot of things. And I say this as a Mars in Pisces myself. Mars in Pisces is strong. Is strong. Sometimes we feel like a failure. Hey Rim, because we just don't want to do things. um, but yeah, and in the case of Sujos, that he has a Mars in Cancer, definitely in him with that Mars in Cancer, I can definitely sense that yes, he does have a Mars in water, but his Mars functions in a different way because it's in Cancer that probably he is a family guy. You know, he is a family guy. He is like someone that probably deep inside, not only he thinks about, you know, that he should commit and that he has to, probably he had already been in relationships, like, you know, I'm not using these aspects or these Venus in the signs to say whether they have experience or not in love. But I think that probably with the Mars in Cancer, there's this sort of longing for having your own family, you know, having your own tribe, your own little nest, you know, and I think that for him probably that's a very intimate project, very dear project of his. That is very, it's actually very surprising for a Gemini sun to have, like, this is why I always tell you guys, you shouldn't like put all Geminis in the same bag, because actually, like, there's a lot of Geminis that do have Cancer placements and that they do have Taurus placements. So, you know, it's not just like, oh, they are Geminis, they are double faced, they are fake, you know, no. Actually, there are some Gemini, some people that they do have a lot of, they're even more like stable or more like willing to work a relationship. My bias in X is Sehun. He's so cute. Oh, thank you, Rim. Thank you. Um, so yeah, I think that these two are very interesting. Are very interesting because actually they can surprise people with. I think that that Venus in Taurus definitely is very charming in there, you know, and but it's up to them how they use that Venus in Taurus, you know. But I think that they must be aware of the, especially more Sehun that Suho, in the sense of how fast probably they fall in love with someone, you know, like probably they are like, because they can be insistent, you know, if they want to spend more time with someone, it's because they are probably into that person, you know. But that Mars in Pisces is going to like make it difficult somehow. It's going to give like mixed signals. This is what I want to say. Like, if you want to know if Sehun is going to to marry soon, I don't think so yet. I don't think so yet. But I definitely do wish them the best, because a Venus in Taurus, sometimes they do struggle when the relationships that they are so invested in for so many years don't work out. They usually are the ones that they have a really hard time moving on. Moon in Taurus people also, but more Venus in Taurus is like, it's hard for them to, you know, to be like, okay, I have to start dating again because my relationship failed, you know, and and sometimes it's not easy for them to see why the relationship failed, you know. It's something that they cannot understand, you know. Geminis are the most interesting sign in my opinion. Yes, they are. They can surprise you actually, yes. Sehun seems loyal in relationship. Yes, but he's moody. Like I was mentioning, Sehun has something that probably it's because he is an Aries, that he is a bit childish, you know, and he is a bit like, I don't know how to say this in English, but it seems like he is. It's like there's this fiery nature between all the elements that he has in his birth chart. There, he also can be very stubborn, you know, stubborn. If you think about the horns of the Aries animal and also the bull of Taurus, he's a very stubborn person, in the sense that he always he wants what he wants when he wants it, and he is very impatient, and this is something that you are like, but he is a moon in Taurus. Why he is impatient? Actually, Taurus placements tend to be very patient, but I think that he doesn't show how impatient he is, but he gets very moody. So he can be annoying sometimes, in the sense that there's a mix of a lot of, like, you really have to have like a lot of patience with him, because it's like he is a bit childish, he's a bit childish, and today he can tell you this, and then the next day he's going to tell you something different. He is the kind of guy that you have to be pendant of his mood swings, like, and pendant on his needs, because he's not going to be clear about what he wants. He's going to pretend that you somehow guess what's going on with him. So, you have to be patient and very loving. And actually, I think that probably a good sign for him would be like a Pisces female. Mm, yeah. But not in a sense of um, of being aggressive. Actually, he's not aggressive at all. It's just that he gets on his nerves, and he doesn't know how to. He doesn't have like emotional intelligence. He doesn't know how to proper communicate his needs. So somehow he expects the other to see what's going on. To be a psychic. Yeah, Pisces can adapt well and understand without words. Yes, or Cancer, because he is his own person. It's not that he's difficult. It's just that he doesn't even know himself. Probably he's a guy that he still has to figure out, because he has a mix of a lot of placements. So probably for him, life, or actually who he is very confusing. It's very confusing. So probably all this Taurus placement that he has is a sort of key to his evolution, in the sense that probably he needs to surround himself more with Taurus people, so he can learn how to incorporate that in himself, because he seems very resistant. Like his energy seems a bit like, okay, like, I'm going to get what I want, and I'm not looking. This is very Aries as well. I'm looking at at my past, but I'm not looking at the others. I'm just looking at me. You know. But I think that definitely um, he can. So let's move on to Beckham, another Taurus. This is a Taurus sun. Beckham, he has Venus in Aries and Mars in Taurus. So yeah, I think that definitely this, and also this Venus in Aries does make sense, at least from my perspective, because I know that he dated Girl Generation Taeyeon, and we had talked that we had mentioned that Taeyeon is a moon in Aries female, even though she's a Pisces sun. Her moon is in Aries, so there's a lot of correspondency between Baekhyun, Venus in Aries, and a female with a moon in Aries. Actually, there's like a lot of attraction, and actually there's a reciprocity between these two, and also like of them understanding their motives, probably how they feel, how they proceed when they start feeling an attraction, because especially I believe for females, because I had talked about this, like, I know a lot of females that have moon in Aries or Venus in Aries. Yeah, she definitely must have like a lot of feel very attracted to the Taurus energy as well. Um, and I think that sometimes for a female to have Aries placements, they tend to feel like they are not that comfortable in their femininity because Aries tends to make them a bit more impulsive, or actually a bit more straightforward, a bit more fiery and passionate, and there's an influence that you cannot help yourself. It's not that you go around showing it proudly, but actually, like when you are a Venus in Aries, for example, in the case of Baekhyun, we know his moon is in Gemini, so he's very talkative, so he's very curious, so he's like very playful. And so he's a different kind of Taurus because he's a bit more energetic. But I believe that probably in relationships, he's also very like, a kind of guy that if he sees someone that he likes, he's going to be looking at that person straight in the eyes, or he's going to try to be near that person, or to talk to that person, to look at that person in the eyes. It doesn't matter how many, if there are cameras, someone with the Venus in Aries is very courageous, is very, very fixated about like, okay, like I like you, like what's your answer? Like, I'm telling you, I like you. Like, I don't know. So, tell me how is it going to be? For them, it's like that. It's very impulsive. And I think that I met a lot of Taurus people that have Venus in Aries, and actually you are like, wow, you are a totally different person. Like, they can be so chill, so structured, so like slow in a lot of aspects in their life, but when they see someone that they are interested in, they change. Actually, they look very Aries like. They turn into the Aries archetype. He has also his ascendant in Gemini. He's hilarious. Yes, it's because I think that he has all these. Probably his Mars in Taurus, it's also in a house where there's a lot of movement, because I definitely do not see this guy sitting down, like waiting for life to happen. I think that he's a very different kind of Taurus, It's just the fact that he has a moon in Gemini, you definitely have a guy here that somehow his moon and if his rising is also in Gemini, he's more Gemini than a Taurus. And this is something that, like I mentioned at the beginning with Suho. He is a Gemini sun and he has a lot of Taurus energy. So, he sometimes can seem a bit more of a Taurus or of a Cancer than actually a Gemini. So in the case of Baekhyun, I believe that probably he is a guy that I'm not sure if he is going to be faithful in relationships, like in the sense that and also his emotional um his em, his emotional needs are also very like fast, like like moving all the time. So I definitely can see him like being interesting, like wanting to explore his options, and also probably like he could be faithful, but I think that he's the kind of guy that you cannot, if you are dating him, you cannot tell him that he cannot talk to the opposite sex, I'm sorry, or you cannot tell him that he cannot have female friends, or you cannot make prohibitions to him. You cannot restrict Baekhyun. Baekhyun will always be this curious child, like. I was surprised, but he said that he was more of a homebody. He doesn't like to go out that much. Yeah, I don't know, Fluffy. I don't know. Probably that's his morning Taurus. Like, because actually this is something that Taurus placements do. Actually, they get on relationships, so they don't have to go out and having to do the whole, searching for the one kind of, so once they are settled, they know that they don't have to go like dress up and go and seduce someone on the streets, they can have that person at home, but honestly, like, being an idol, it's a very exhausting experience in itself, especially because of that there's a lot of people monitoring your behavior and what you do and what you do not do. So I think that probably can cause a bit of social anxiety on some of these people, that even though that they probably would want to go out and be with friends, they are like, no, we better stay at home, like, you come over to see me and we will have dinner here at my house, for example, to avoid paparazzis, to avoid any kind of confusions, because yes. And also I think that when it comes to um, idols sometimes talking about, oh, like, I'm a home person, or, oh, I prefer this, sometimes I'm like that. Sometimes their answers are very repetitive, in the sense that I think that they prefer to give a basic answer to the fans, like, about what they like and what they don't like, so people don't go that deep and try to search every little move that they do, because if they say, like, oh, they like this thing, everyone will go and Google it and will try to do it themselves, and go and harass the people. So I think that probably it's better for him to give an answer like, oh, yes, I'm a home person, I don't go out that much. Like, I don't, like, for example, there's a lot of idols that they are like, oh no, I don't have many friends. Actually, I think that it's a way to protect their own intimacy, to not give that much details, but to give a decent answer that somehow the public expects of them to be like, no, I'm, or some idols that are like, oh no, I'm very boring actually, like, I don't do much, I only play games at my house. And I'm like, really? Like, every day? But oh well. Yeah, that's the opposite of Taeyeon, who is a total homebody, mostly calm and chill. So his third son must be hidden in his 11th house, and we don't see it as much except for his beautiful voice. But he must see mainly his Gemini placements, yes. He also changes a lot, depending the circumstances. He's a shapeshifter. Honestly, their energies didn't match, you can tell. Baekhyun is a homebody. You said we only see his persona. Yeah. Even so, he's more energetic, has big energy burst, opposite of Taeyeon. That's true. He can be wild. Yeah, it's just that I think that probably Taeyeon she seems, she's a leader, of course, but she has that intimidating vibe. So probably for her, she would be the kind of partner that will be looking at you sideways, if you don't behave, like somehow, like probably, like she is like, she's very mature. She had always been mature, she had always had to have a certain level of responsibility. So probably if she does attract men that are a bit on the childish or the childish or the playful side, it's probably a sign, that she needs to learn to incorporate that side of herself as well, But for me, for example, like me, that I'm a Capricorn, like I had met Capricorn men, trying to be funny and goofy to seem attractive to me, to try to conquer me, and I was so embarrassed. And I would tell them, like, what are you doing? Like, stop it. Like, I don't enjoy this. Like, and they just, like, they feel really rejected, but actually I think that, I just don't like, I wouldn't say that I would date someone so serious because I do acknowledge that I have zero sense of humor. I mean, I do have a sense of humor, but it's mostly very dark. So I don't know. But I think that when someone is too childish or does it on purpose to make me laugh or to make me smile, like I'm like, please don't do it because I'm so embarrassed right now. Like you're not going to get the response from me that you want because this is not funny. Actually, I'm very embarrassed right now. Like please stop. Because really, like I don't. Yes, yes, it's cringe. It's like don't do it. No, like no. I'm sure probably there are people that you can break the ice being like that. For me, it's like no, no. Actually, I will lose a bit of respect for you if you I have any. Yes, I swear, I, I had a coworker that he was a cancer son, and he was interested in me, and he would always be like, "Oh, do you want to go and I don't know, get the garbage out of the of the shop that we were working on, just to go and walk with me. I don't know." We would go and get the garbage out, and he would do like one day he would do this very like awkward thing of he was holding like an empty box and he would put it on his head while we were walking, and there were other people like passing by, and I was like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm trying to make you feel embarrassed. Like, yes, you are making me feel embarrassed. Or he mentioned something of like making me feel like embarrassed to be around, to be with him, and like to be. Yes, I know I was very ashamed, but for him it was funny. But he saw my face and he was like, "Okay, I will stop." But like, no, no, yeah, no. Okay, guys, let's move on to Daniel. Daniel, he has Venus in Scorpio with the Capricorn Mars. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe my face was too awful. Like yeah, I know I can be like, yeah. I usually don't see myself doing those faces, but I tend to be a bit intimidating when I get serious. People had told me. um, so with Daniel, well, he has Venus in Scorpio, which is like a bit like, yes, predictable because he is a Sagittarius. So, a lot of Sagittarius also have Venus in Scorpio. This is something that you will see a lot of Sagittarius having Venus in Scorpio, a lot of Capricorn having Venus in Scorpio, because they are very next to, or either they are before or after. Also, Virgo has a lot of Scorpio placements as well. So sometimes that also you have to see the sign that it's in the middle, like before and after, and you can see the influences of the signs that are going to be in the houses, not in the houses, in the planets. So in the case of Daniel, he also has a moon in Capricorn, so his Mars. Oh yes, you, Rim. Mm-hmm. Yes, you. Yeah, I think that probably this Venus, it's also very like, yes. This Venus, it's also like very. Oh yes, Mariana. Mm. So I think that in this case, this Venus in Sagittarius probably is very it gives this Capricorn energy of him a bit more of fixation, in the sense that probably he's going to be more of the possessive kind of boyfriend. Or I mean, if he feels attracted to someone, he's going to feel this placement very deep and like very strong and intense, but at the same time, him being a moon in Capricorn and also a Mars in Capricorn, probably he's not going to act. um, Oh, I got them from Twitter. From Twitter. Um, so yeah, I think that for him probably for Chanyo it's um I think that probably he's a very passionate person, but his Capricorn placements doesn't allow him to actually express his whole passion. Probably he's very passionate and he feels a lot, but all those Capricorn placements is like, no, forget it. Like, probably he's more of using this Scorpio placement to somehow have some dominance over his potential partner, like probably to think like, okay, I like, as if this was a competition, like I have to make that person fall for me before, like yes, I have to, like a sort of agenda, like I have to conquer them first, I have to like propose first, like always trying to have control in the relationships. um being possessive, but not in the sense of like, when Venus in Scorpio, it depends on how it's also influenced by the other planets, but it can be very sensual, very, very, um, a very pleasure, like a kind of experience for the person that is feeling it, that is very passionate, that is very sensual. But in this case, since there's a lot of Capricorn, probably it's more about dominance, or it's more about like, I have to be the best, or I have to, probably showing that he cares through jealousy. Yeah, I think that this Venus in Scorpio is not feeling comfortable here with this Venus, with this Capricorn next to it. I think that probably it gives him this initial desire of conquering someone, but the main goal, this is very Capricorn, the main goal is to like possess the other person, and to make sure that no one else possesses this person. So probably him in what he finds attractive, it's all about him being the one. So he wants to be the one. He wants to feel like like he matters, like he is important. So like he is the first one even. So here with all this Capricorn energy that he has, like he could be very traditional, like in the sense that he could have a thing for, somehow having this fantasy of being the first one in their partner's lives, or be the first one that you fell in love with, or the first one that you said I love you to. He has this sort of like very masculine energy of somehow owning that person, like a trophy, yes, but also in the sense of like, okay, this is mine and no one else's. Very possessive, very, but also very like hidden in the sense that he doesn't want to give his power away in relationships. So he can be manipulative or he can be very persuasive, but also is that he wants to make the other person know that actually he is like the authority in the relationship. And somehow he enjoys being like the wiser one in the relationship. So I don't know if maybe there's something here also with age differences. You know, yes, probably like him, like liking people or feeling attracted to people that seem a bit more inexperienced than him. You know, to somehow feel a sense like, okay, you know, because Capricorn energy sometimes it's very about, you know, the Saturn energy, the father figures. So sometimes the people that we do have a lot of Capricorn in us, we tend to be like somehow the parents, like the fathers. In it doesn't matter what gender we are. We tend to be like the father figure of our potential partners. Like we tend to be the ones that we set the example, like we set the boundaries. You know, we tell you how. Okay, you're in a relationship with me. Okay, here I'm giving you the orders of how we're going to do things. You know, this is how we're going to do it. And you need to listen to me because this is how we're going to do it. And we start, you know, like taking over the relationship, you know, and and of course that if you are with someone that is very sensitive, or for example someone that has a lot of, I don't know, Pisces, Scorpio, or any water placement, that actually the water placements are not fools at all, like in the sense that they can like agree to certain things that we ask, but then eventually they do what they want to do. So, you know, this is why sometimes the people that we have Taurus and Capricorn energy, we seem a bit inflexible in a lot of things, but if you are a bit more sneaky, like you can actually like conquer us, you know, because we are so stuck in our ways that we think that we are right, but actually then eventually like the signs that are a bit more flexible, they show us, they tricked us, you know, into like, okay, you want to do things this way, we will do it, but eventually they turn over the situation, you know. So I think that, yeah. Yes, to lead in the relationship. Yes, I think that that's because also with the Venus in Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio is very possessive. You know, they tend to also get into very tumultuous relationships. Yes, he can be loyal. Yes, he can be loyal, but he is the kind of guy with all this Capricorn energy that or probably he can be loyal, but he also can be very like authoritative, you know, in the sense that he will give you loyalty, but he will also demand a lot of things from you, you know, like for example, like, oh, I don't like you to go out, or you know, I don't like you to dress like this, you know. There's a lot of things about Capricorn and Scorpio placements that sometimes they tend to restrict a lot the other person, you know, in the sense that, okay, you are the one for us and we are loyal, we just want to make sure that you are ours and no one else's, you know. And sometimes then can translate to being toxic as well. You know that everyone nowadays is talking about, oh, this toxic, oh, this. But I think that I met people with Moon in Capricorn, Venus, the explorers. Look, he's been involved in cheating scandal and rumors, so who knows? He's a Sag after all. No offense to Sag, but they are explorers. Yes, yes. It's just that, you know, like I mentioned about Suho and Sehun, and I think that we should take into consideration that probably for idols and these placements and everything that we see here, they are going to start exploring those after they turn 30 or 40, guys, because you can imagine that they, with fame and everything, they do not have the total freedom. You know, they're very focused on their careers, so they do not have the time to properly invest and get involved in relationships, because relationships take a lot of time and effort, and they are usually like putting a lot of effort and energy on their jobs, on their image. They are working with their image. They are working in a very public environment. So, dating and being famous, I don't think that's a recipe that. So probably you will start seeing this, like I always tell you, for you to see how a Venus in a in a certain sign works, you have to see them like with a proper partner, like, or for example, if they had two girlfriends that you know of, like start comparing if there's a pattern between what they like, and that's the only way you can observe a Venus in action, because then we cannot be sure. But this is something that I wanted to say about, like, you were mentioning, Fluffy, about 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 him being a Sagittarius. And also one thing that I wanted to say that I couldn't express it because I didn't know the words. But you were mentioning this about he potentially cheating in the past. One thing that probably Venus in Capricorn and a lot of Capricorn placements that I know people, or even Venus in Scorpio as well, males, is that they have this sort of like tendency of this ownership, like in the sense that, oh, like I cheated, yes, but because I'm a man. That very like old fashioned, very structured, very like not so flexible mindset. That mindset that, oh, it's okay if I do it. It's okay if I cheat. And you have to forgive me. But if you do it, you are dead to me and you are the worst of all. Double standard, like, and this is something that I had heard a lot of like males saying this, also Venus in Aries males, I had heard them saying this, like them not feeling sorry for cheating, like, oh well, it happened, I made a mistake, but oh well, I guess these things happen, and I think that that's also something that sometimes when there are these people that have a lot of masculine or a lot of strong placements, they feel entitled to certain things. They are like, oh well, I made a mistake, but oh well, like, and also about cheating, like also someone that has a Venus in a sign that is very loyal, they can cheat as well, but that doesn't mean that they will break their relationship. They usually don't break their relationships. Actually, Venus in Libra, they are the greatest cheaters. They live a double life almost. But do they leave their wives for their mistress? No. Venus in Taurus people, they do it as well. They just love the experience, but will they break a commitment? Will they break a marriage or a relationship of many years? No, they won't. If their partner lets them stay, and if they can convince their partner that, oh, it will never happen again, I'm so sorry, I made a mistake, and if they have a partner that is very like loyal, they will continue, because actually in their perspective, it's just a mistake, an interruption. It's not that they don't love the person that they're with. It's just a distraction. I think with all those cup placements, he needs time as well. Place. Moon in Taurus and Ascendant in Virgo. Time as well. It's just that the Capricorn placement, sometimes it takes a while for us to settle down. Actually, we for us dating, it takes a while because we tend to focus on our personal development. Maybe you're more introvert because of those signs, but I was just mentioning stereotype. It's not that simple. Moon in Taurus and Ascendant in Virgo. Who is a Moon in Taurus and Ascendant in Virgo? Are you, Flecha? But yeah, and I have, she's. And now that we were talking about Venus in Capricorn, that we had talked about Venus in Capricorn and Capricorn placements, we have the Capricorn man himself, Dio. We are moving on to Dio with the Venus in Capricorn, Mars in Pisces, and we also have another Venus in Capricorn, that is Kai. But Kai also is a Mars in Capricorn. So we have two types of Venus in Capricorn. And of course, let's not forget that Dio and Kai, they are both Capricorn suns. So I think that in this case, probably for these guys, yeah, probably next to Jujon, yes. Kai is the most Cap guy ever. But you know what? They always remind me of Aquarius. They always remind me of Aquarius. They always remind me with Aquarius, especially because I believe that Jujon has Mars in Aquarius, and Kai has a moon, Aqua moon. Yes, definitely. I think that you know, when we have a lot of Capricorn placements, especially Sun, we usually don't tend to identify with Capricorn. We don't tend to identify. So I think that these guys actually, in the case of Dio and in the case of Kai, I think that probably what they could do really well is to attract Capricorn females. I think that these Venuses in Capricorn can actually be a projection, like for them to actually meet or bring the Capricorn to their lives, because it seems like me, you know, I'm a Capricorn sun and I'm a Capricorn rising, and I feel I do not connect with Capricorn energy at all. So I think that in the case of them, that they have a lot of Capricorn, probably what they need to learn in relationships is to attract someone that can look like what they find attractive is the Capricorn mountain goat, you know, someone that can bring a stability that probably they are lacking, you know, probably especially in love. You know, I think that definitely there's something about these two, like Dion and Kai, that yes, they can look very Capricorn, but probably in relationships or in their own emotional nature, probably it's not easy for them to connect with sweetness, with tenderness, with, and they probably can be a bit on the escapism about relationships. You know, like, oh yeah, like I want to be in a relationship, but at the same time, every time someone makes a move on me, I run away. You know, this is something that we usually do a lot in Capricorn. Capricorn placements is not easy for expressing emotions, and in this doesn't mean that we do not have emotions. We do have them. It's just that if you make us choose, sometimes we will choose loneliness, or we will choose to be by ourselves. You know, like we are a bit like this. This is why when I see someone that is not a Capricorn sun with a Capricorn Venus, I'm like, oh well, yes, they can be like a bit of, you know, like a structure and wanting to have a certain partner that can bring value, add value to their lives, you know, a sort of commitment, like a sort of like a business deal, you know, partnership. But when you are a Capricorn with Capricorn Venus, I think that probably is like a sign that probably you need to attract someone that can bring stability to your essence, that seems like you have the stability in you, but you don't have it. Like you may have it in other areas of your life, but not relationships. And also, whatever Capricorn touches, Saturn makes everything more complex, like a bit dark, a bit heavy. Like it takes a while, it takes years for us to finish or complete a karmatic situation. When something happens to us, it takes years for us to move on, to finally be like, okay, like now I'm free, like now I'm learning the lesson, because Saturn is very heavy. So when it comes to relationships, I think that probably, you know, for Dio and for Kai, relationships, they could probably like build something long lasting with a female that has a lot of Cancer placements, or a female that has a lot of water placements, because these two have so many concentration of earth that they are so like so like it's like cold inside, that they do need someone with water placements to somehow soften their aura, their nature. And of course, Kai definitely accomplishes this because he is an artist and he also has a moon in Aquarius, so he does have like a very artistic, emotional nature. He wants something different. So that moon in Aquarius of his saves him from being so structured and so boring like a Capricorn. But I think that probably in relationships, he is a bit robotic. He's a bit, I would say, even insensitive to his partner's needs. In when I say this, I mean it like in an emotional way. Like he probably is not very empathic. Like he knows that him as a boyfriend, because he probably has this very like traditional view of that the man in the relationship has to be the provider, or he has to take care and be a gentleman and show up and be present, and he does all these things. So probably when it comes to showing his feelings or opening up or being vulnerable, he's like, I don't know how to do this. Like he freezes, and of course, that he's the Aquarius moon, it doesn't like, it's not also very comfortable placement to talk about feelings. Also Dio, that he's a Virgo moon. I think that in the case of Dio, his way also of somehow breaking into the hardcore of Capricorn energy is his Mars in Pisces, that somehow also helps him when it comes to being creative or being empathic, but in a way that he can transmit emotions to others. But when it comes to relationships, sometimes everything gets awkward for them. So probably they need from the exterior a kind of person that can soften this, that can inspire. Dio and Kai get along very well. Yeah, Crystal is a Scorpio Sun and Gemini Moon. Both of his girlfriends had Scorpio placements. Yes, because they would be able to see through him, I mean, like, okay, I know what you need, Sometimes to make him forget that we are going to make the work here. You don't need to do anything. You just need to show up. Like, oh no, Kai is not my type. Ari, Cancer goes so well with Capricorn. Yes, especially Cancer women. Yes, and Capricorn men. Yes, I would love to see him with a Capricorn something. I'm sorry, with a Cancer something. Cancer moon person. Someone also very sweet, very loving, very funny, very because they also, these are guys that also, despite of them having a lot of Capricorn placements, they also have like a lot of Mercurial energy. So, Dio with his moon in Virgo, and Kai with his moon in Aquarius. So they are, their minds work very awkwardly, like so even the way they express themselves may seem a bit awkward, like they could be like aliens, in the sense that they have their own language, especially when they get comfortable with people. They can be weird. So I think that they need someone that has the be empathic enough to somehow break the code and be like, oh, they are being weird with me because they like me. Oh, I get it. Like they need to have that, because I think that definitely these guys, or actually having someone that can introduce them to the people that they like, because if it was for them, it would take a while for them to actually make a move. And actually, since they are a Venus in Capricorn, and Capricorn is a cardinal sign. Capricorn is a very dominant energy. I definitely believe that once they made their mind that, and they are sure that the other person likes them back, they can take the lead. They can be, like, okay, like, let's do this, like, you and me, But it's going to be in a very business-like manner, very awkward, very like not enthusiastic or loving or romantic. It's going to be like, okay, you and me forever. Sign here, please. something, my lawyer is going to call you. Something like that. Sometimes I feel like Shane when it comes to express them. Yes, very awkward inside, very, very robotic. Like, I have the same thing, guys. When I'm not a hugger, if you try to hug me, I am the most awkward person when it comes to receiving hugs. Like, I don't know, I'm just so awkward. Like, I don't know why. But it's a Capricorn thing. Like, I don't like people touching me. Like, please, like, yes, I like you too, but please stay on your line. Like, please, like, don't invade my space. Yes, also Capricorns. At times, Sky feels like an old man to me. Yes, like an old man, exactly. That's a Saturn influence. That's a Saturn influence, Hope. Not sure why, but I get that. I get that hit every now and then, maybe during his lives. Weird. Yes, weird. 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 Like, we are not that entertaining, actually. We are very routinary. Like, um, especially, because I'm a Capricorn, but my placements, because I have been talking about placements forever. That somehow allows me to go with the flow with, for example, doing lives and, talking to you and laughing with you, and just, any random subject comes out, and as long as it's with respect, we always talk about this, about whatever. But I had watched a few B lives of some idols, and some, I would say a lot of them are really boring. Like, are really boring. And I'm sure that all the girls that comment in their hearts, and I love you, and I love you in all the languages and stuff, probably it's because of their devotion. But if you have to be honest with yourself, like, name one life of an idol that you are like, wow, I learned, or I don't know, or I was entertained, like the 2 hours or the 1 hour that they went live. Because it's not just like standing here and reading the comments. Sometimes you do have to propitiate a conversation, and some idols are not that eloquent, and it's not, again. Their body living their souls. Kai is mega Capricorn with his moon conjunct Jackson in Aquarius, which is also ruled by Saturn. Traditionally, Saturn is the wise old man. So yes, that make Jujon also looks like an old man. I actually think Kai has lightened up with age. Yes, like yes, we had all lightened up with age. Exactly. You're spitting facts. Most of the lives are super boring, especially when they are alone. Yeah, sometimes I do watch my favorites like um when they do this sort of mukbang, when they start like eating something, and I'm like, oh great, like they are eating something, like that's cool, like talk about the food that you like or something like that. But not any of their B lives is really like entertaining, like and I don't know, like you have to be honest. Like I know that they are handsome, and for example, in my case, there are a lot of moments that I did watch some old um, um, Utah's old lives, for example, and I swear that I didn't, and they didn't have any subtitles like in Spanish, not English nor Spanish, or I think that the subs were really misleading, like they weren't, like they didn't make any sense. But I spent that hour just looking at his beautiful eyes, because it can happen, it can happen. But if you are honest with yourself, it's like it wasn't like, I think that I was just amazed. And I think that there's something about, in the case of Utah, that I do love his radio show section that he has. Um, they probably bring something to it, so it makes the whole thing less awkward. It's not just silence. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but there are some duos that are hilarious. But then when they are on their own, man. And when they start to do karaoke, it's like some. I'm not going to say who, but so boring, so boring. Oh, oh, oh! I love Kevin. I would name Kevin, like, my God, all his hilarious comments. Like that guy is an entertainer, and a very like it's. I would put all his phrases on a shirt, and I would use them every day, because that guy, when he's with Jacob, when he's by himself, when he's on Bubble, but he's a comedian, like, and there's like a lot, there's facts also in what he says. It's not just him talking nonsense. He has a point, it's like, oh my God, that guy. I love Kevin. Love Kevin. I think that he's my favorite idol. He's my favorite idol persona. Like like he's not, like, we all have like our biases, and we know why we love our biases. But when you're like, which idol do you like their personality the most? I would say Kevin. I would say Kevin. I would sit, if I had the money, the time, the influence to go get a coffee with Kevin, I would go to Canada to have a coffee with him, and him talking about bears. Like, the most interesting conversations would come out of me having a conversation with Kevin. Oh, I'm sorry, Hope. The boys, Kevin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like I was talking about Kevin, and we didn't mention that. Yeah, and And sometimes on Twitter, I see the voice messages translated, and Kevin's messages are actually interesting. Yes, spilling the tea and everything. He's great. Definitely an interesting one. Have you seen that one where they ask, oh, like, oh, is your company still working or something like that? And he's like, yes, it is. Okay, let's stay focused, guys. Let's not go because I'm going to be here forever. Let's move on to Xiumin. Xiumin, is it Xiumin or Xiumin? Xiumin, the Aries guy. Um, Xiumin got Venus in Aquarius, Venus and Mars in Aquarius. So definitely Xiumin, I know he's a sun in Aries, but yes, he is the embodiment of. Probably he is friend zone a lot, poor guy. But oh my, there's there's a fly here. Um, yes, yes. He's like, I think that probably being a Venus and Mars in Aquarius, it's the same as Kai being a Venus and Mars in Capricorn. I think that all the people that we have Venus and Mars conjunction in a sign, it is very hard for us to integrate that sign, that energy, especially when it comes to romance, because Venus and Mars when they are together is a very like volatile and like Mars next to Venus, it definitely makes the person a bit more fiery. Like it doesn't matter what sign it is. Like I have Venus in Pisces, and I'm not romantic at all because I have the Mars next to it. So yes, it is in Pisces, but somehow it feels like Aries influence, because Mars is touching Venus. So it makes everything boiled. Like we tend to be, especially when we feel attracted to someone, we tend to act a bit like a Venus in Aries. So we tend to be a bit like, it's very, is not, is not characteristic of us, but sometimes we tend to like act irrationally when we are in front of a person that we like, especially like we tend to be bolder or be a bit more courageous or a bit shameless even, and then we want to kill ourselves because we are like, how did I expose myself like that? My moon in Scorpio doesn't appreciate it that much, but oh well, that's the fiery of of having that Venus and Mars conjunct, and I think that this is something that I had talked with people that have also Venus and Mars conjunct in other signs, and they told me the same, that they feel this sort of irrational wave of intensity, fire in your body, in your veins, that when you are in presence of the person that you like, that you are like, okay, I have to do something. I have to make a move. I have to talk to them. I have to create a situation where we would bump into each other. I don't know, but or go and tell you, hi, what's your name? Like like, can you give me your number? Or making a fool of yourself just to start a conversation. So somehow when you have a conjunction in Venus and Mars, you can be a bit like precipitated to do things, and it's very out of character. And it doesn't have anything to do with the sign it is in. So yeah, I think that probably Kai feels the same way, and Xiumin also, But I think that since we were mentioning the other day about Venus in Aquarius, what is love for a Venus in Aquarius? Yes. Yeah, but sometimes that sex appeal, that strong conjunction of that strong like pulsion of energy between Mars and Venus also makes us be a bit like relentless, and then we regret the things we do, because sometimes we act on attraction, or probably if we like someone, we want to make a move right away, and then eventually we learned that maybe it wasn't the right time, or it wasn't the right person, or the things just didn't work out because maybe we should have waited, or maybe we should have been a bit more patient, and not so, so that's when sometimes we we tend to precipitate ourselves, and I think that that's something that I always thought that it was only me. Like there was a moment where I was like, I wanted to rectify my birth chart again, because when they said that I have Venus in Pisces, and I was like, no, that's not possible. Because definitely when it comes to me liking someone or me feeling attracted to a certain type, I always feel attracted to the courageous guys, or the courageous person, like the outgoing one, the honest one, and actually, or if they are shy, I usually take the lead, or I become the courageous one, or I become the bold one. I tend to integrate that Martian energy in me, and that's not very Pisces. Like actually Pisces is very low key, Pisces is very like, oh, I don't know. But I at the beginning stage of attraction, I feel this urge to do something, to do something about how I feel, or if I like someone, I will make it obvious, and it has to be now. I cannot hold myself, and that's something that I think that it's very um, it's weird, like I said, I wanted to do my birth chart all over again, because I was like, no, I'm sure I am a Venus in Aries. I'm sure I'm a Venus in Aries. I'm sure, because that's how I felt, and maybe, I was like, I got my birth time, like my I don't know, my birthday wrong, but I felt like a Venus in Aries. And then this moth again. And then they would explain that it's because of the Venus and Mars conjunction. That's because you feel so like, you feel like a Venus in Aries. That's why. And then you actually like, you regret it, because it's not like you are always like this in relationships. It's the beginning stages. For example, if I like someone, I tend to argue with that person a lot, or I tend to, pick on that person a lot. And actually, that's because this conjunction must make sense. So it gives a bit of Aries. Yes. Mm-hmm. It took me a while actually to understand that, because I was like, it sure has to have a meaning, because it's not like in every aspect I feel like this. It's not like like when I'm in a relationship, I am like this. No, it only happens when the first stages of attraction, when I feel attracted to someone, you know, and actually those don't end well. Like I learned that the hard way. That actually the ones that I feel more physically attracted, and I feel so impulsive towards them, actually they are not good for me. Like the ones that I actually probably didn't pay much attention at the beginning, and they were the ones approaching me. Maybe with them I initiated a proper relationship, but or a proper bond. But when it comes to me feeling passionate about someone, it always ended very bad. Always, always, because we will always be arguing, always like picking each other, like fighting each other, and that's also the influence of Mars. And actually, I have also an astrologer, a friend that is an astrologer, that they say that also because I'm a moon in Scorpio, like it makes sense that sometimes I want to have arguments with my partners, because that's sort of like an emotional need of mine, to have like chaos in the relationship, or have like an emotional outburst of something, to feel something. So I always like I want to have like drama in my relationship, because Scorpio is also ruled by Mars. So would you say it influenced your taste as well, like taste in arts instead of Pisces style? Do you prefer some more fields or style of music? No, I think that the one that influences very well my taste is my Scorpio moon. And also because I'm the generation of Scorpio Pluto. So we are the generation of the emo, the generations of the dark concepts, the generations of dark music, dark clothes. I never liked dark clothes. I don't like to wear dark colors, but like when it was famous, when it was popular to wear, like cargo pants, or we were all black, we would wear it. I think that for me it's more about, I don't like action movies. I like horror movies. Yes. And actually you should pay attention that probably the artists that you admire, they could potentially share the same moon sign with you or have the same sun sign with you. If you check out even actors or someone that you admire, go check out their birth charts. Sometimes it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. For example, my favorite series, thriller series of all, is Hannibal. Is this series based on Hannibal Lecter, and actually the actors, Mads Mikkelsen and I believe it is Jack, no, Hugh Dancy, they are both Scorpio moons. Yes, and they are both Scorpio moons. Because Hugh Darcy is a Gemini, but he also is a Scorpio moon. And Matt he's a double Scorpio. So it yes. So the intensity, the darkness, the aesthetics of the show, everything was so and it also, I think that it touched my south node and my north node, because I have my south node in Scorpio and my north node in Taurus. So even though I'm very well aware of the Scorpio energy, I have to integrate more the Taurus energy, the more superficial side of life, the beautiful side of life, the beauty, the aesthetic. So I think that that show in particular, it was horrific, like it was horror, it was gore, it was dark, it was um intense, but at the same time it was beautiful. There were a lot of visually it was beautiful. The sounds, the music, it was beautiful. When they served the food, it looked delicious. So I think that it was a very interesting X of like the Taurus and Scorpio in one series. Oh, Penny Dreadful, also my favorite. Also my favorite. Yes, Penny Dreadful. Yes, totally. Yes, exactly, Fafi. Yes, they're like I think that if you ever want to see what is like, a conjunction, like a chemistry between someone that is a full Scorpio with someone that is a moon Scorpio, you have to watch Hannibal. You have to watch Hannibal, and you will see how um, how complex it's for us to be in presence of the Scorpio nature, because I do love my Scorpio friends. Um, uh, but the ones that are the most Scorpio, for example, double Scorpio, I have a very like hesitant relationship with them. When they have heavy Scorpio energy, I feel like a sort of rejection towards them, because I can sense with my Scorpio energy, like there's a correspondency, there's an attraction, like I recognize that we are equals, but at the same time, since I have other energies, my need is to get out of the moon. Like, yes, I can see through you, I can see the manipulation, I can see what you want me to do, but I'm not going to, because I don't trust you. So you can definitely sense in Hugh Darcy that he has that moon in Scorpio in his character, that I believe his character name was Will Graham. You can definitely sense the moon stereotype, like somehow fighting the the Scorpio nature, you know, fighting the darkness of the others. Like, I'm looking at you, like I really, like, I understand you, like we are the same, but we are not the same, because I can transmute and go into the light, because I can choose, you know, I can choose. So there's like an attraction, but there's also like, and I had that happen to me, like where I feel very attracted to someone that has a Scorpio energy, but at the same time I feel a sort of repulsion, you know, like, and when they start like playing games with me, I don't like it. I don't like it. There's something in me, like probably like I feel like I'm not safe, you know, and if I feel like I'm not safe, I cannot trust you. And it's not that they could potentially betray me or something like that. It's just that, like, I don't want to be devoured, literally devoured by their intensity. You know, I want to preserve myself. I want to survive, because a Scorpio moon technique is to survive the fear of death. You know, just so to survive you, I have to kill you, and we both have to die. You know, there's no way we can get out of this bond just as we came. No, we have to come back like destroyed and reborn, and probably not the same, and it's going to be traumatic, but it's going to come to an end. You know, it's not going to be like, okay, I'm going to accept that you want to control me all the time and manipulate me, and for just because I love you, I'm going to be loyal. No, like my moon defense mechanism wouldn't let me to sit still next to you, because I would feel like you're up to something. So, and I would resist it, even if I love you with all my heart, you know. Yes, I love, yes, definitely. Penny Dreadful also was something that definitely touched my heart. I think that definitely my Scorpio moon felt very, very, very like, yes, Scorpio can be extreme. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Scorpio can be extreme. Yeah. Yeah, and I have Venus also. I have Pisces as well, so I could make sacrifices in love. You know, I can make sacrifices in love, but also my Scorpio moon doesn't allow me to play dumb for so long. You know, I had been devoted in relationships where probably I wasn't very happy, you know. But I think that my Scorpio moon, it's something that pulls me out of that Pisces fantasy land where, oh, everything is okay. Like, yes, yes, yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. We will make it. Oh, well, love is like this. Love is sacrifice, and you sacrifice for the people you love. And then there's my Scorpio moon that is like, no, no, no. If it doesn't make you happy, let go. Like, no, like you are in danger. Like, you know, the Scorpio placements is like win, win, win. You know, it's like, no, you know, and so yeah. Okay, guys. Yes, they are. Yes, they challenge you also to go into your dark side, into your darkness. They definitely are great teachers. They invite you to go into your dark side, and actually, I had like patients, like clients, as a counselor, that yes, they I would bring out the darkness in them, you know, and they would like really share with me very traumatic experiences, you know, and they would probably were a bit shocked by how intense the whole dynamic between us got, and they were like, oh, but I thought we were going to talk about positive things. And no, eventually we're going to touch some very dark moments. It's not that it's up to me. Like I don't guide the process. I accompany people. But yes, I know that, if you are in therapy, it's because you need to heal something. And it's great to do it because there's intimacy in there. No one is going to judge you. No one is going to be listening to your secrets or trying to gather information against you. No, it's the intimacy. There's this secrecy. There's this also this level of acceptance. But yes, you have to come out like, yes, like, bring it on. Bring all your secrets, your darkness, your everything, because it's the same intimacy of the bond. Like, there's there's no, you cannot hide, because the whole environment is very, it invites you to talk about things that you probably are like, oh, I don't know what to talk about. And suddenly something happens. I sometimes talk to a counselor, she's a Scorpio sun. Yes. Yes. Yeah. They are very good at that. They are very good. They are very good at touching your patterns, so sometimes you do come to a lot of conclusions or a lot of insights, and you're like, wow, I have that in me. Yes, you did. And you just weren't able to put it into words. But once you listen to yourself, you're like, oh, I had all that in me. Yes, you have it. You have it. It's just that sometimes we hide it because of our responsibilities, because of how we were brought up, how we were raised. We sometimes follow other people's desires, and then, Okay, guys, let's move on because I have 10 minutes. Okay. So I think that yes, with Venus in Aquarius, definitely we know, I had mentioned that Venus in Aquarius, it's more like what they look for or are attracted. It's actually a friendship. It's sort of like everything has to start with a friend. Probably he's very popular, he's everyone's friend, he's very friendly in his nature, and more like romance, like, oh, I'm looking for love, I'm looking for the love of my life. It's more like I'm looking for a potential friend, someone that can accept me for who I am, and in that sense, and in that like honesty of that bond, I can maybe allow myself to put my guards down and start, like allowing myself to feel a bit more. Because Venus in Aquarius, just like any Aquarius sometimes placements, they are very aloof when it comes to, okay, how do I feel and what do I want? They are a bit universal in that sense. They also tend to change a lot. So they bring the change. So maybe for them, relationships or how to be in a relationship is never going to be traditional. It's never going to be like, okay, you and me, we meet and we get married and have children and that's it. I think that sometimes for a Venus in Aquarius, even relationships and connections are a whole adventure, because you are like, okay, like, how do I do this? How do I know how to be a friend, like I know how to be there for you, like I know, but to be romantic, how do we do this? So I think that the best scenario for them would be to start this romance with someone that they already know and that they have that trust. Because just like, Capricorn placements as well, Aquarius is not very comfortable in the romance department. Like they don't know how to do things. They don't know the protocol, like, okay, how do I do this? How long do I do this? Do I want to do this? There's a lot of ambiguity also between, like, do I really want to be in a committed relationship? Like, what is love for me? Like, and of course that Venus and Aquarius people can be loyal as well. I think that loyalty, actually, it depends on the person, it depends on the circumstances, and it also depends on what, you know I think that it also has to do with how how bad you want to be with that person and in that bond. Of course, there are some placements, like I say, Taurus placements, like Libra placements, that they somehow are all their lives looking for the special someone. They are like, okay, once I meet this person, that's it. I'm going to marry that person and we're going to be together, and that's it. No hesitation. Um, but I think that loyalty, it goes beyond you saying we are an official couple, because actually you can be apart from that person and be with someone else and still in your heart, in your mind, be loyal to someone that is not your partner. That can be, maybe, I don't know, someone that you loved before, someone that you met on the street and fell in love. I don't know. So, to talk about loyalties, it's a bit complex, especially nowadays, where loyalty, it's a bit like, I wish we could say um, that we know how to build a proper loyalty, that we know how to say goodbye to things and end things before breaking someone's trust. But sometimes, awful things happen and we make terrible decisions. So I think that loyalty is not just a sign or a placement. It's more like a sort of like it's the person, it's how you were feeling that day, how you were in that stage of your life, if you were ready to be in the relationship or not, if you wanted to be in the relationship or not, if you were forced to be in the relationship or not because you felt pity for the other person and you agreed to be in a relationship that actually you are not really happy. So there's a lot of things, and of course, like, it's not an excuse. Of course, that if you betray someone, it's because you are deciding to. Everything is a decision. We are making decisions every day. But yeah, there are people that can be a bit like elusive in love, or can be a bit like manipulative in love, like their intentions are not clear. So, but when they meet the right person, they can learn to be clear, or they can learn to communicate, they can learn to be better lovers, they can learn to be better partners. I think that we are all learning here. um, I have Venus in the 11th house. And it's kind of similar, yes. I need to get to know the person first and share interest, even if the attraction is present from the start. I think some people are not made for a long-term relationship, but because of tradition, they don't own that. Instead, they act and dishonestly and betray their partner's trust. Yes. For example, I don't know, me, that I have a Venus Mars in Pisces. Everyone would be, oh, but you're like the romantic type. Oh, you're like, I would always like picture myself with this placement to be married right by now, or to have been married several times. I don't know, to always be involved in romance. And actually no, because I have like a not so favorable aspect of Uranus to my Venus and Mars. So somehow that breaks the possibility, or the to actually, like, it seems like for me to start over relationships, like a proper relationship, like a stable relationship, it's going to take a while. Like probably in my 20s it was easier, but now after my 30s it's like it's becoming a sort of challenge, where I actually should focus more on building like relationships of friendships, relationship with coworkers, relationships with my community, relationship with myself at the same time, and this is also very Capricorn, to learn to live by yourself, to learn to be on your own, and then eventually the right people will come, You know, that love is not just about two people, it's also about you being able to have friends, you know, to have a community that you like, you know, to be able to share with other people. That's love as well, that's connection as well. So yeah, okay, since it's going to be 2 hours that I'm here, and I don't want to rush things because I think that we talked a lot, and I don't want. The only ones that I have pendant is Lay and Chen, but I don't want to rush these two. I'm going to come back tomorrow to do part two of this, and then we can talk about other things. I probably will do it at 10 tomorrow at 10 a.m. my time. So yes, because I don't want to rush this. And also I'm going to check out very well, just like you say, Fluffy, the information of their pictures. And also if you want to send me a link or something, I can check it out as well, just to confirm that. Oh, yes. Yes. Sure, you can watch the replay then. Yes, you can watch it. Thank you for being here. Yes, because it's very late actually, and I have to cook. But yes, tomorrow at 10 I will be, and I will do 10 and lay, and also we can talk about other things in astrology. So yes, yes, because it's very late here. But thank you for being here, and like we shared a lot of things. We talk a lot. Yes, yes, sure. Or if you want, you can. Are you on Discord, Fluffy? But you can put it on the comment of this video, so I can check it out. Oh, okay, okay. Once this video is uploaded, you can put it. So I will look for it, just to be sure, because I did search in between a lot of links to find a sort of correspondency, but I'm going to check it out again. So okay, I'm going to go. Thank you for being here.